Hey all, I would like to share with you my second shamanic journey uh, with sacred plant medicine. And last time I was telling you and reading my notes at the same time. I only have 10 minutes per video because the recording software I use, so I'm just going to read it this time. So enjoy. So I once again found myself at the teepee on another spirit journey. After a thorough smudging of sage and incense, I was offered the medicine, just like everybody else. There was about 20 participants at this journey. I tried to shoot it down as fast, just like last time, but for some reason, the dose tasted horrible. Nothing like last time. There was not one drop of sweetness. It was just bitter. Even the smell of it made me nauseated. I felt like I would try to stay sitting up for this journey, so I resisted the urge to lay down. I thought that laying down caused my face to melt on my last journey. I wanted to avoid that. I also felt really cold. I was shivering, and it seemed like I could not put enough layers on. I tried to hold the medicine in for 30 minutes, like suggested, but there are no clocks and no way to tell time. One loses track of time very easily. I noticed nobody had purged yet. I didn't want to be the first one to purge, but I was feeling very nauseous. I wanted to vomit, but I did not know if enough time had passed. I recalled that the last time I was seeing flower of life patterns by this time. I was disappointed not to be experiencing any visuals, but I kept meditating with my eyes closed. Moments later, I felt the urge to vomit. I tried to be discreet about it, and I held the purge bucket in my lap while sitting cross-legged. This time I knew the purge was a good thing, and I actually wanted to do it, but I did not want to be the first. I knew that I vomit loud, and it's not very pleasing to hear. I couldn't hold on any longer. I was either going to lay down and fight the purge unsuccessfully, like last time, or I was going to vomit right then and there. So I chose to vomit. Right there in the bucket on my lap. However, the vomit got stuck halfway. I instinctively got on my hands and knees and let it out with a very disturbing groan. I asked Aya to cleanse me. I asked her not to allow me to purge halfway, but to do it completely. I wanted to be totally clean. I vomited 2 more times, just as loud. I really did feel like I had no more to purge. After my last purge, I looked in the bucket and I saw a big black mass. It looked like black iron follicles magnetically collecting together into one big jagged ball. I sat back down cross-legged and I felt really good. I was feeling very clean and I was feeling lightheaded, happy. But still, I did not experience any visuals. I wasn't even concerned about being the first to purge, and that I gave off such a disturbing display. It didn't even cross my mind. It felt so natural, and it felt so good to just release. As I kept meditating, my body was getting nice and warm. The music started playing a really good track with the native flute, and I could feel the flute being played through my body. I could feel vast amounts of energy shooting up my spine, and I had the desire to start playing a native flute with the music. Unfortunately, I did not have one nearby, so I just sang. My singing started to get louder, and eventually I went from singing to oming. I didn't even feel like I was oming, but something was oming through me. It felt really powerful. I could feel the vibrations through my body and bouncing around the teepee. I visualized my vibrations from oming going out and healing everybody in the room, with a bright green light coming from the earth, through me and out to everybody else. It reminds me of the end scene of Final Fantasy VII, which you can see on YouTube. I highly recommend it. It's very spiritually awakening watching that scene For me, it was anyway. I felt that I was being used as a tool to heal others, and I felt amazing. I could have done that all day. I saw a very subtle and blurry flower of life pattern. Then I saw a very clear bear's face. It was looking at me for a couple seconds before it grinned and faded away. The music faded and the medicine man offered more medicine. I was feeling great, but I knew that if I took another dose that I would be vomiting more. Just the thought of taking more medicine and going back to being nauseous made me crack up laughing. It felt good to laugh, and while I was laughing, I realized that if I wanted the experience I came for, then another dose was needed, so I accepted the second dose. Just the smell of the medicine alone made me queasy. My eyes stared at the cup of medicine, my hand was still. My heart was saying yes, but my mind was saying no. I willed my hand with the cup to my mouth and poured it in. My throat did not want to swallow. The taste was so terrible. The more I stayed in my mouth, the worse it got. I knew that I was either going to spit it out or force it down. I physically pointed at my throat and demanded that it swallowed. I finally did swallow, and following quickly with water. I got really cold and nauseous again. I went back to oming, and it helped with the nausea. I felt the urge to urinate hit me, so I raised my hand and was escorted to the bathroom. While I was outside, everything seemed so much more vibrant. I could see the colors of the trees and the plants pulsing with vibrations of color. On my way back, my escort told me to look around at the earth's beauty. I looked up and saw among the trees there was a bright yellow and orange maple tree that was glowing brighter than any other. At the moment I felt the purge coming. I saw a bucket outside and thought about vomiting there, but something didn't feel right about mixing purges. I held it down long enough for me to get back to my spot, and I let it out with a vengeance. This purge was the most powerful I have felt. When I vomited, I could hear garbling noises coming out that I did not believe was coming from my mouth. It sounded like something was cussing me out in an unearthly language. The only thing that sounded familiar was the sound hoogly boogly. I know it sounds silly, but that's what happened. It seemed to keep flowing, but it was doing a deep clean. I could feel it all the way down to my core. When it stopped, I had to take a breath, and I looked in the bucket, and I saw thousands of eyeballs. The helper immediately took the bucket away, and a new bucket was in its place. I vomited in that one too, but I was dry heaving. I would make the gesture to vomit, but no liquid would actually come out. However, something that I could only describe as black dust or soot went into the bucket. I felt drained of everything, but I still hovered over the purge bucket. I felt a hand on my chest like before, and I felt that it was a reminder to watch my breathing and my heart rate. Excuse me. I immediately started to slow down my breathing. The hand then rubbed down my arms, and I felt grounded to the earth. That made me feel a whole lot better. I hovered for a while, but then I sat back down. I could feel my spirit being pulled away from my body, but it was very gentle. I heard what I think is my higher self say, "Let's go." My 3D self said no. Then it said, "Okay, but I need to come back." Then my higher self said, "You're going to come back. Just release." My 3D self said, "Okay, but I want to stay seated." My higher self said, "Are you going to release or not?" After a while, I got over my fear and I laid down. And I'm going to go ahead and end it there for the first part. Unfortunately, I have to make this two-part video. I hope you enjoyed. Travel safe in the love and light. Peace. And be your own shaman.